Let's remove the negative battery terminal using an 8mm wrench. Set this aside so it cannot contact that battery terminal. So next we're just going to turn the steering wheel. We're going to have this so it's just like that. At this point, if you were to look at the back side, you're going to see two holes, and inside those holes there's going to be a little piton that you're going to want to push on. So I'll just take my pick, I'm going to push right in the center, and then I'm going to pull out on the airbag a little bit. And then I'll do the same to the other one. Okay, that came out. I'm going to do the other side real quick again, just in case. Okay, that feels good. We'll do the same to the lower ones. There we go. Carefully pull this away. Now we're going to disconnect the airbag. This orange thing right here is a lock. So first I'll slide it out of where it's held in. Now we're just going to grab that orange piece, pull that out. Now we'll just press in on this tab, and we should be able to separate these two pieces. Carefully set your airbag aside. Get that wire out of the way. Now we're going to remove this nut. Now the next thing you want to do is pay special attention to make sure that your steering shaft is marked and the steering wheel area is marked so they line up. If they aren't, just go ahead and make some sort of mark that'll make it so you can remember, because you don't want to put your steering wheel on crisscross. At this point, usually you can shake it around, and sometimes it comes off that easy. Other times what you might have to do is put a bolt through right there, and just kind of keep driving them in, and it'll press up against this area there and draw the steering wheel away. So now we're going to use a T25, it's a Torx bit driver. And if you were to look underneath your steering column, you're going to see two large holes. There's going to be two screws. Remove both of them. The next thing you're going to have to remove is this right here. To do that, just pull it straight out. Now we can grab onto this. You want to push towards the dash to unhook the clips that are in the back. And then of course draw it towards you to remove it completely. There's those hooks that I was talking about. Next we're going to use an inverted Torx E5. We're going to loosen this right here, and that's going to relieve this upper plastic. Should be able to lift up. Okay, that came free nice. It's coming along great. Awesome. What we're going to have to do next is we're going to be coming from underneath this plastic. We're going to find a little hole, and I'll show you it in a second. We're going to take this pick and we're going to press down. Once you press this down, you can turn it backwards a little bit and slide the unit out. So right now my plastic's already off, and that's just basically for the camera. But essentially you would just lift it up so you can get under. And I'll just kind of get it out of the way. And then here's that hole that I was talking about. So imagine I'm lifting up that plastic. I find my hole. Okay, I'm going to take my ignition. I'm going to turn it so it's in the cranked position. And that's lining this slot up with the hole. I'm going to press down. And then I'm going to turn this counterclockwise. And then I'm going to turn this back a little bit and pull this out. Let's try again. Crank it. Push this in, twist, and pull. So now you should be able to get this plastic cover right out of the way. We'll set that aside. Now if you were to look right up along the top here, you're going to see a T25 screw. And then also if you were to look from the steering wheel side straight in, you're going to see another T25 right there. We're going to remove both of those. Set that aside. We'll grab onto this, lift it up. Now we're going to have the electrical wires that we're going to disconnect. We'll just spin it around so we can take a look. So now we're just going to grab on this yellow wire right here. This is the one for the airbag. We'll pull this down. It's just held on by a push clip. Remove the lock. Press that tab and separate the two. Now we're going to move along to this unit right here. So now right near those wires, you're going to see a little bolt that holds this unit to a bracket. Use a 7mm with an extension and remove it. There it is. Lift up on this, and then we can pull it down a little bit. Let's see. Just got to get it off that upper bracket. Awesome. So now if you look right inside here, let's see if I can move these wires. You can see there's a little screw. We're going to unscrew that screw. There we are. So now you're going to notice that you have a couple other ground wires that run up along the top. We'll take a better look at those. Now we're going to remove this panel right here. You're going to see 4 7mm screws. Remove them. Let's go ahead and pull this off of here. Okay. This hose right here just pops right off. And now we'll just kind of hang this off to the side. So now I'm going to use this nice curved pick, and this outer portion of the wires right there, and then this gray portion, outer portion of the wires are the pieces that we need. To get those out, they actually pull down and away from the rest of the wiring harness. But there's going to be a couple little clips, so that's the reason why I'm going to use this. I'm going to go right in between this gap right there, give it a little twist, and then pull down. And that separates. Do the same to the other one. That's great. Now if you have a wire tie that's holding everything together, obviously you're going to want to trim that off, and then once you've done that, we'll draw this out. So now we'll just carefully pull this out of here. Looks like I've got a little bit of electrical tape holding some stuff together, so I'll just get that off of there real quick. Alright, so there's a little green clip that's holding these 2 wires to this right here. So once you get the locking clip out, we're going to push on the tab and then draw out the wires. So now if you follow those 2 wires, it goes right to this unit right there. We're just going to push on this little tab and then twist. Try again. And it comes right out. Now we can grab this and remove the multifunction switch. Let's get ready for an install. We double check to make sure we have the same connectors, which is very important. This looks great. Here we go. Take those wires, go right along the driver's side of the steering column there, and then just bring it all the way down and let it hang down at the bottom. We'll deal with that in a minute. So now if you look at your wiring harnesses, we have the big one, and then we have, of course, the 2 that we brought down there. The gray is going to go next to the side that has the yellow wire on it. Take your gray unit, just kind of bring it right up along and in through the groove and listen for a click. There it is. Give it a nice push, make sure it's locked in. Do the same thing to the black except on the other side. Make sure those wires aren't getting pinched. Slide that black one up in there. Should latch right in. That feels great. Okay, this looks good. Let's move along. So get those wires up and over the steering column. connector in. Give it a nice tug. That feels great. So we'll just lift this up, slide it into its little bracket, and then of course pull it down so the hole lines up. Okay. Once you have everything lined up, go ahead and put in your little screw. Okay, it's nice and tight. Give it a wiggle. That feels perfect. Let's reconnect this back in. And then of course make sure you put your lock. Awesome. Make sure you re-secure it. And then of course tuck the wires up so there's no way they can get caught on anything. Make sure you put your lock back in. If I can reach it. Let's get this plastic back on here. Make sure you connect in your vent hose. Super important. Just line everything up. A couple loving bonks. Just get it situated, and now we'll use our 4 screws and mount it in securely. So let's mount this in now. Should just slide right in. We've got our top hole. Make sure you start both screws in before you tighten either of them down. This one's a little harder to get to. Okay, that's nice and snug. Do this one as well. Perfect. Doesn't move around, it's nice and secure. Let's get this cover on there. Just bring it down and under. Want to pay attention to this rubber right there. Let's see if we can get it to sit in the groove. I'm going to slide this down over this. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Let's get the ignition cylinder in. Give it a nice tug. Make sure it does not come out. Perfect. And hold that down. I'm just going to screw this in. Remember, you're just screwing into plastic, so you don't necessarily want to go too tight. Just bottom it out and then give it a wiggle. That feels great. Now it's time to get the lower part on. Remember those hooks. When we go in, we need to go in extra far, bring it up, and then slide it forward and lock it in. It's going to come out along the outside of that. Go in extra far, like I said. Bring it up. And then, oh, come on, there it is. Lock those in. All right. Let's put in our screws. Now we're going to put this in. Give it a nice push. Make sure it functions. Perfect. Now it's going to be time to get the steering wheel back on here. You just want to pay attention to this yellow wire. We're going to put it right through this slot in the steering wheel. Draw it right on through. Then we're going to line up the steering wheel. As you push and twist, you'll notice it'll finally set in. And everything should line up with the marks that are already on there. If you don't have it lined up, it just really won't push in until it does. So we'll just kind of give it a nice little push. That feels good. Now we're going to use our 21mm nut. We'll snug it up and then we'll torque it to 29 foot-pounds. Let's torque this to 29 foot-pounds. Perfect. Let's get this wire in here. Now we've got our airbag. You want to make sure you connect it in, and then we have the orange lock. Heard the click, give it a nice tug. Take your lock, slide it right in. You want to make sure that this is secured. Up and over the top of that. Slide it just like that. Now we're going to take these. You want your 4 prongs to line up with your 4 holes. Before we go any further, just double check to make sure that you have this inside there. This is for the horn, and if you don't have it in there, it's not going to work. Carefully line those up. Okay, now I'm just going to push it in. Awesome. So now we'll carefully connect our negative battery terminal here. Check it, make sure it's nice and snug. Now let's go try to start the vehicle. So let's test it. Test that 4-way. Why is it? 4-way is good. Left. Right. And of course, turn on the headlights. High beam, I can see that they're turning on and off right there. That's great. One last thing. Horn. Perfect.